Good morning students, welcome back to C++ class. Today's class I'll explain about for loop. Okay, already I have explained two types of loops, for loop, while loop and do while. And before that already I have explained what are loops, how many types of loops we have. What is the loop actually? Loop actually it is a mechanism. It is used in so many programming languages to execute a same block of statements number of times. Okay, and how many types of loops we have? Two types of loops we have. One is entry control loop and the second one is a exit control loop. Under entry control loop, what we do is first we will check the condition. If the condition is true, then the body of the loop will be executed. Under exit control loop, without checking a body, first we will without checking the condition, first we will execute the body. After executing the body, we will check the condition. That is the exit, means at the end of the body, we will check the condition. That is the exit control loop. Under entry control loop, we have two forms. One is a while and the second one is a for loop. Under exit control loop, we have a do while. Okay, so under entry controlled already have completed while loop, and the second construct, the second example of entry control loop is a for loop. Okay, so for loop is a entry control loop. Entry control loop means here first we will check the condition. If the condition is true, then the body of the loop will be executed. If you want to execute body of the loop for at least for one time also, you need to check the condition. If the condition is false, then you can't execute body of the loop at least for one time also. So for loop is entry control, first we will check the condition. If the condition is true, then only the body of the loop will be executed. Okay, so here you see the syntax. For is a keyword, init is the initialization, condition, increment. Here I have given increment, you can give a decrement also. It is an increment or it is actually it is a updation. It may, the variable whatever it is, that value can be incremented or decremented. So in a for loop, actually this initialization, condition and updation we used in a while loop also. But in a while loop, first initialization, next condition, and in the body of the loop I have given updation. That three statements here I have means that three are included in a single line only. Initialization, condition, updation. In a while loop, this initialization before the condition we added. Next condition, while keyword inside the parenthesis I have given the condition. Next this increment or decrement in the body of the loop I have given. That three things, three components of the loop in for loop are added in a single line only. Means that three you will get in a single line only. Okay, but whatever procedure is there in a while loop, same procedure you can follow in a for loop also. First one is the initialization, starting value, condition. Means number of every time we will check the condition, means whatever value is there that is below the range or not, that is a condition. Every execution you want to increment or decrement the counter variable, that is a updation. So any loop, if you will take a while, do while also, you will get three things: this initialization, condition, updation. Example, if you want to print numbers from 1 to 5, what is the starting value? 1, that is the initialization. So whatever values you are printing, that should be less than or equals to the 5, that is a condition. And every time how much you want to increment? 1. First I want to print a 1, next I want to print a 2. So what is the difference between a first value and the second value? Only the 1. So that is a updation. Or you can print values from 5 to 1 also, that is a decrement. So in the third component you can increment or decrement according to your requirement. Now, and how the loop will be executed, here you can see. Initialization, first we will initialize the one variable. Next after initializing we will check the condition. If the condition is true, the statements whatever are there no between opening and closing braces, that will be executed. After executing that, again it will be incremented, counter variable will be incremented. Next we'll check the condition. If the condition is true, again the statements will be executed. After executing the statements, again it will be incremented by 1 or whatever value you will give. Again we'll check the condition, again we'll execute the statements inside the for loop. So this procedure will continue as long as the given condition is true. When the condition is false, the loop will be terminated. Okay, so here in example I will explain. You see the example. See, you see the for loop. For int I equals to 1 means, actually what is the purpose of the program here? I am printing numbers from 1 to 5. So if you want to print numbers from 1 to 5, what is the starting value? 1. So that is why I equals to 1 I have given. Okay. Next, whatever values you are printing, that should be less than or equals to 5. No? So that is why I value whatever you are printing, that is less than or equals to 5. Condition is true. If the condition is true, using a cout output statement, that is printed on the output screen. Next, after printing a 1, again here plus I have given. Plus I means I is incremented by 1. Now what is I value? 2. Again 2 less than or equals to 5. Condition is true. If condition is true, again 2 is printed. Next I is incremented by 1. Now I value is 3. 3 less than or equals to 5. True. 3 is printed. Like this, when I value equals to 6, condition failed. When the condition failed, the control comes out of the loop. See, actually after the for loop, opening and closing braces are there, no? That is the body of the loop. So when the condition is false, the control comes out of that body. Okay, and whatever statements are there after the loop, that will be executed. So this is a for loop. Now here you can see the flow chart. See, first initialization or expression will initialize the variable. Okay, next after initializing the variable, what we are doing? We are testing the condition. We are checking the condition. If the condition is true, then what we are doing? For loop body will be executed. After executing the for loop body, again we are updating an expression. Means you are incrementing a I value or you are decrementing an I value, like that. After updating, again where we are going? Again we are going to the test condition. The test condition is true, again the body of the loop will be executed. Again we are updating an expression. Next, after updating the counter variable, again we are checking the condition. So this process is continuous. Means this process is continuous as long as the condition is false. When the condition is false, where we are coming? We are terminating the loop. So this is a procedure in a for loop. So here whatever counter variable is there, that is printed as long as the condition is true. So here we are printing values from 1 to 5. So initial value is 1, initial value is 1, the ending value is 5. So whatever values you are printing, that should be between 1 to 5, and every time I want to increment value by 1, means I want to print 1 first, next 2, 3, 4, 5. Every time how much you are incrementing? Only 1. Okay. So that is a for loop. Now with this we completed all the loops. 3 loop constructs we completed. One is a while, the second one is the do while, and the third one is a for loop. Now the next one is jump statements. Okay, jump statements, in the name itself you have a definition. You are jumping, means you are jumping from one section to another section. Example, you are in a example room number 1, immediately you are jumping to room number 2. Okay, so like that in C also we have some jump statements. Using the jump statements, you can move from one section to another section. Means you are not coming sequentially executing a line by line. Simply you are jumping from example line 1 to line 10. Okay, so when you want to jump from one line to another line, one section to another section, one block to another block, in C++ we have some jump statements. Okay, so here you can see the jump statements. but these jump statements are executed when the given condition is false. Okay, so here these jump statements are based on the condition only. When the condition is true, then only the user can jump from one section to another section. So here you need to include any one of a decision making statement with the relation expression. Okay, let's see the jump statements. Here actually, sorry, here we have a 3 only. Here I have given a 4, no, actually it is a 3 jump statements only. You see, first one is a continue, the second one is a break, the third one is good. Okay, so continue, I will give you one example. See, using a loop and searching all the records in the bank. Example, in the bank we have 100 records, and I want to check whether record number 50 is there or not, and that 50 record number is a manager number, and I am the manager. I want to skip my number and the remaining all the numbers I want to print. Example, so here what is the condition? Only the record number 50 should skip, the remaining records should be printed. Okay, so that is possible by using a continue statement. Okay, so continue is a jump statement. Using this jump statement, you can skip one iteration when the condition is true, and except that statement, the remaining all the statements are executed sequentially. Okay, in the order however you have given condition, in the same condition all the statements will be executed. Okay, but when the condition is true, only one that particular statement will be skipped and the remaining statements are printed, are executed as usually. Okay, now here you see the flow chart. First you see loop body starts, means we are writing a loop and body execution is start. Inside the body of the loop, we are checking the condition. When condition is true, we are not executing the remaining statements. When the condition is true, the continue is executed, means again we are going to the loop body. Okay, means only one particular statement will be skipped, the remaining will be executed as usual. Okay, you can see here the definition. It is used to execute other part of the loop while skipping some parts declared inside the condition, means it will execute all the statements inside the loop except some part, and what part should be skipped, that will decide by using a condition. Okay, and this you can use inside the decision making statement also. So syntax is only will give the continue keyword and will give the semicolon. Example program you see here. What I am doing is I am printing numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, so here the first one is a preprocessor command, the second one is a namespace. It is a particular module from which module we are including some functions in our program. Next, int main is a main function. From that point only a program execution will be start. Now you see the for int I equals to 1, because I am printing numbers from 1 to 10. What is the starting value? 1. Now whatever value you are printing, that should be less than or equals to 10. Okay, condition is true. If the condition is true, what happened? We will enter into the body of the loop. Inside the body of the loop, what I have given? I have given a condition I equals to 5. Continue. What is I value here? 1. 1 equals to 5. Condition is false. When the condition is false, immediately output statement will be executed. That is, I is printed. 1 is printed. After that, I is incremented by 1. Now what is I value? 2. 2 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. Then again we will enter into the body of the loop. In the body of the loop, what I have given? I equals to 5. Means what is I value? 2. 2 equals to 5. Condition false. So when the condition is false, 2 is printed. Now again I is incremented by 1. Now what is I value? 3. Now 3 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. Then we will enter into the body of the loop. In the body of the loop, what I have given? I have given a condition 3 equals to 5. Condition false. Cout will be executed. Cout 3 is printed. Next I equals to 4. 4 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. Again we will enter into the body of the loop. 4 equals to 5. Condition false. 4 is printed. Now I equals to I is incremented by 1. Now what is I value? 5. Now 5 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. If the condition is true, then we will enter into the body of the loop. Inside the body of the loop, again I have given condition now. 5 equals to 5. Condition is true. Condition is true. When the condition is true, immediately continue will be executed. Continue will be executed. What it means? Whatever remaining statements are there, no, that will not be executed. Again, this control goes to the updation. Okay. So continue, Cout will not be executed. Immediately, if the condition is true, without printing I value, I is incremented by 1. Now what is I value? 6. So what it means? 5 is not printed. 1 to 4 is printed. 6 to 10 is printed. But only 5 is skipped. Why? Because when the condition is true, continue statement will be executed. When the continue statement is executed, immediately whatever counter variable is there, that is incremented, but whatever statements are there inside the body, the remaining statements, that will not be executed. That is a continuous statement. Means only one particular statement will be skipped, the remaining will be executed as usual. Now see, here I have given the output 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is not printed. Why 5 is not printed? Because after when I equals to 5, I have given the continue. When you have given the continue, the remaining statements will not be executed. Immediately control goes to the loop. Now the next one is a break. See, break already I have explained in a switch statement. You are printing the numbers from 1 to example. Same example I will take. Bank example I have given. I am searching account numbers from 1 to 100. Suppose I want to check account number 50 is there or not. Means a manager number is there, no? That is there or not, I want to check. If that is there, I don't want to execute the remaining part. Actually, what is my purpose? I want to check whether 50 is there, account number 50 is there or not. If 50 is there, means condition is true, I don't want to execute the remaining part. I want to skip the remaining part. In that cases, we can use the break. Okay. So you can use the break inside the decision making statements, inside the loops. So using a break statement, example, if you are using a while loop, inside the while loop, if you are using, if the condition is true, when the break is executed, when the condition is true, the remaining statements will not be executed. Means it will break the loop. Okay, already we used this inside the switch also. When the one condition is true, only that block will be executed. In order to skip the remaining blocks, there we used the break statement inside the switch statement. Okay, switch case. Similarly, in we have 3 types of loops. No, in all the 3 loops, you can use the break. But when you have included break, no, when the condition is true, the remaining statements will not be executed. If you implement this break for the bank also, when the account number 50 is found, no, the remaining 51 to 100 will not be executed. For only one particular purpose, we will use this break statement. Okay, you can see loop body, inside the body only will give the condition. If the condition is true, the break will be executed. If the break is executed, you can observe here, if the break is executed, again we are not going into the body of the loop. But in case of continue, if the condition is true, when the continue is executed, again we went to the body of the loop. But here the condition is true, again we are not going to the body of the loop, because when the break statement is executed, there itself loop will be closed. The remaining statements will be means they are skipped. The remaining body of the loop is not executed. That is the difference between continue and the break. Continue means only one particular statement will be skipped, whereas break, if the condition is true, whatever statements are there after that condition, that will not be executed. Okay, so that is a break statement. means it will break the loop or it will break the any decision making statements like that when the condition is true. Now, example program you can see here. As usual, preprocessor command I have included, and the namespace std module I have included. Next, for loop I have given for int I equals to 1. Next, I less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. If the condition is true, we will enter into the body of the loop. Inside the body of the loop, I equals to 5 I have given. I equals to 5. No, actually right now what is the I value? 1. 1 equals to 5 is not true. So again cout will be executed. Now I is incremented. Now what is the I value? 2. Okay, 2 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. The condition is true. Again we will enter into the body of the loop. 2 equals to 5. Condition false. Again I is incremented. I value is 3. 3 less than or equals to 10. Condition is true. Then we will enter into the body 3 equals to 5. Condition false. Again I is incremented. I value. When I value equals to 5. Example. I equals to 5. So here what is the condition? If I equals to 5 means I value equals to 5. Example. 5 equals to 5. Condition is true. Then the break statement will be executed. So when the break statement will be executed, the remaining 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 will not be executed, because when the break is executed, the remaining part of the loop will be skipped. That will not be executed. Okay, this is the break statement. Now, the next one is a go to statement. Go to statement, in the name itself you have a definition. Okay, using a go to statement, the user can go from one section of the program to other section of the program. Okay, so here go to is also, it will come under the jump statement. If the condition is true, the user can jump from one section to another section. But here two things are needed. One is a label and the second one is a go to statement. Okay, so label is nothing but here using a label we are naming a particular section. Okay, we are naming a particular section, and when the condition is true, the user will go to that particular section. Okay, so that is a go to statement. See example, if you want to go somewhere, you need to know the location of that, you need to know the name of that location. So using a go to statement, that is why what we are doing is, first we are naming a section, and when a programmer is required, when the condition is true, the user is giving a name of that section, so that the user, using a go to statement, the user can move to that particular section. Okay, so when you want to use a go to statement, here we need two things. One is a label and the second one is a go to statement. Label means, example, if you have 3 paragraphs, you are giving a name as a paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. So when the condition is true, example, if you want to go to the paragraph 2, then there I am giving go to paragraph 3. So this is in a C++. So here what we are doing is, we are naming one section or 2 sections, 3 sections based on your requirement. Next, after giving a label, when the condition is true, we are giving a go to statement which gives the instruction to the compiler to go to a particular section. Okay, that is a go to. So here in the program I will explain. You can see here main function, namespace, already I have explained. Now you see in the int age, from int age, you see int age means we are taking a age from a user, because here I have used the input function cin age means we are taking age value from a user. When the age value you are taking from a user, example I am taking a age value from a user. Here age value should be less than 18. So if age value is less than 18, what instruction we are giving? Go to ineligible. So when the age, whatever age the user is giving, that value is less than 18. Then where the user is going to ineligible. See here, ineligible is a block, is nothing but the label, and that label should end with the colon. Inside that block, what I have given? See out, you are not eligible to vote. That is the information. There you can give any information. Okay, here you need to remember only one thing. We are giving a label and we are giving a go to statement. So when the condition is true, the user is moving from the current location to that particular label. But if you want the user to move to particular section, there you need to use the go to statement. Okay, go to and the name of the label. And here you need to remember one thing, whatever label you are giving, and when you are using a go to statement, that label, whatever label you have given and whatever label you are using, that should be same. Even you are not supposed to change the upper cases and the lower cases also. Whatever label you have given and in whatever case you have given, exactly that should be given when you are using a go to statement. So here we will give the condition. If the condition is true, then the user will move from the particular section to that statement, go to statement. Okay, so this is a jumping statement. These are the jumping statements we are using in a C++. Okay, so next just once again all the control structures I will explain once again. Control structures means if you want to execute any statement based on the condition, then we will go to the control structures, and control structures are divided into two categories. One is a decision making statement and the second one is a loop. Decision making statements will use the one keyword and will use the one relation expression. If the condition is true, that statements will be executed, and if the condition is false, that statements will not be executed. Okay, again in a decision making statements also we have two types of things. One is two types of decision making statements. One is the if and the second one is the switch. Okay, if again we have a four construct: simple if else, nested if, else if ladder. Now the switch, already I have explained this part. Next, loops. Loops are nothing but block of statements are executed when the given condition is false. Two types of loops are there: entry control and exit control. In one category we will check the condition first before executing the body, and in the second category before executing the body of the loop we will check the condition. So like that, based on our requirement, we can use any type of a loop, or it may be a entry control or it may be a exit controlled. Okay, now under entry controlled we have a while loop and for loop. Under exit controlled we have a do while. Now after that, under control structure you will get one more category, that is jumping statements. Jumping statements, using a jumping statement we can direct the user to move from one section to another section, or in between only we can stop the loop or we can skip particular statements. Okay, under jump statements we have three statements. One is a continue and the second one is a go to and the second one is a break. Using a continue, only one particular statement will be skipped. Using a break statements, when the condition is true, the remaining part of the loop will not be executed. And using a go to statement, we are means we are directing the user to move from one section to another section. Just but before going into the particular section, first you should label the section, then you should use a go to statement. Without labeling the section, we can't execute the go to statement. So this is about control structures. Okay. Thank you.